That's a very interesting question. What's the question over there?
The question was, we've been studying about conventional and mathematics. Eventually, how do we relate this to our lives and how we can...
Wonderful. How can we relate what we are studying, ultimate analysis, conventional analysis, with our day-to-day life? This question. Right? Okay. So for that, what is very important is to ask yourself. First, you have to ask ourselves, what do you want? This is the question. First, you have to ask this. If somebody says that I want aesthetics, I want to learn about aesthetics, so forth. And some people may say, I want, say, my ultimate goal is to get promotion in the job. This is my ultimate goal. Some say that, oh no, ultimately I want more money. Some say, no, okay, money is important, I need promotion. There's all these I need. But I also need spirituality, I also need peace of mind. Right? And some say that, okay, yes, I need these things, peace of mind, and also finally I have to remove all my fears of life. Right? So depending on what you see, if you say that I want more aesthetics, then instead of seeing emptiness, you see the other side of the emptiness. The 5 points we learned, emptiness means dependent origination. Dependent origination means middle way, right? But if you dependent origination, from this, seeing dependent origination, this will let you appreciate aesthetics so much. When somebody say, I want to have more money, money is ultimate. You can see depending on how to get money, but depends what factors you get more money. But depends what factors you will get more promotion. All these things you will be, be very good with the dependent origin. While trying to look for money, while trying to look for promotion, so forth, mental pains, clash, fight, these things happen, right? So how to get rid of these fights and pains, still get more money, still get more, the greater promotion. So that can be done through understanding dependent origination. And somebody says, no, I want to get rid of my fears in my life. Say once in a while, I feel fear coming, feeling loneliness coming, right? So there, emptiness. This emptiness, subject to ultimate analysis, that will be extremely helpful to get rid of the immediate pains. One, then the long-term plan, the pains. How to get rid of the long-term plan, the pains against the vision of emptiness. So we have to see what you want, what you are seeking. Then on that basis, you have to see which applications have for dependent origination or emptiness. So accordingly, you have to practice it, right? So in other words, if you practice wisdom just on a daily basis, then in your day-to-day life, you will be less affected by the external objects, right? You will not be easily affected. So if something bad happens to you, instantly you go into depression. It will not happen. You can maintain your calmness of mind. Practically speaking, this is extremely beneficial, the consequence of managing emptiness. So if you manage emptiness on a daily basis, like taking dose of medicine every day, then you see that at one point, you gain such conviction that external factors can fluctuate as much. Right? Somebody says that, hey doctor, what are you doing here? You're wasting your time about emptiness. What is emptiness? And what? How dare you say like this? Agitation will not come if you have been meditating emptiness. So this is how we free ourselves being easily affected by external factors. So internal factor is under control. So self-proclaim, internal factor is under control. Then external factors, how very strong? Sound of the clamp will stop, your miseries will stop. This is the practical benefits, very helpful. Okay, one. Then another thing is pertaining to the question which was being discussed with Rami and the group, very active, So I was so impressed. In fact, believe it or not, say whatever opinions that come to you, whatever thoughts that come to you, which may disagree with the Prasangika views, don't be afraid to express that. Right? Don't be afraid to express it. Somehow, believe it or not, somehow any idea which may come in contradiction with what Prasangika is saying, somehow these ideas are already set by the different philosophical schools, either by Pachika, either by Sautantrika, either by Chittamatra, either by Savatantrika, Madhyamika. Somehow these schools have said it. You'll be thrilled, you'll be so happy. That is not just me. Somebody's already said it. So how that is responded by the Prasangas. These debates are so richly done there. For example, the question which was discussing between Rami and the Rashmi, right? Discussion is happening there, right? Then, okay, the glass breaks, the glass is here, glass breaks, but the atoms then don't break, right? Even though the glass breaks, but the atoms are there. So atoms exist truly. It's amazing. These are all set by the South African school, right? Don't be afraid to come up with the different ideas, thoughts and so forth. They are so precious. As long as you're not convinced with some point, something is lingering in your mind. Although yes, this is what he says like this, but there's something there, right? If that thing remains, then you will not understand emptiness. Any doubt that you have, you must discuss. Bring them and say your friends may not be able to give answer. It doesn't matter. You ask me. I may not be able to give answer. It doesn't matter. You can ask someone else. Others may not give answer. It doesn't matter. You can ask someone else. And then, if possible, slowly go into the authentic books. Authentic books, right? This is how we grow. This is so precious. Okay. Which stanza we are reading now? 35.
35 to start.
35. Start, not start.
Not start.
Start. Okay. 35. So now it's easy. 35 is easy. 35 down is easy. So now the question is asked. If everything is empty of objective existence, if everything is like a dream, right? If everything is like a dream, then say then how the Buddhas? The Buddhas also like dream. If the Buddhas are like dream, how the Buddhas benefit you? You know? How the Buddhas benefit sentient beings? Okay. The Buddhas. Okay, what is the difference? Tell me. Red flower on my right hand and the imaginary blue flower on my left hand. What's the difference? Hey, no, you can't say it. How amazing. You must have seen them this now. Hey, what's the difference? Hey, the right flower on the right hand and the imaginary blue flower on the left hand. What's the difference? Sam?
Illusion light and what is illusion?
Wow, philosophy. In this illusion light, this is illusion. Rami?
Almost the same. This is a fact.
This is a fact?
Yes. This is a fact. And the other hand is just imaginary or
just imaginary, just your mind creation. Okay. Now, the lower schools they are saying that if this is illusion-like means mental creation. Then what is the difference between illusion-like is mental creation, right? Imaginary blue flower is also mental creation. Both are imaginary. Both are imaginary, right? If both are imaginary, just as this flower does not have the capacity to give rise to benefit to you, even the Buddha should not have the capacity to benefit the sentient being. Both are imaginary. Okay, so the answer is given. Let's see, 35. Then just as a wish-fulfilling gem and a wish-granting tree fulfills all wishes, likewise, through the power of the prayers, the enlightened body of the victor appears to the disciples. Okay. So, although everything is like illusion, the Buddha is like illusion. Everything is like illusion. And the Buddha is somebody who has realized, say for example, okay, tell me, the group of young children playing the games of the king and the kingdom, right? And then the mother of Geshe, right? Mother of Geshe comes, and then, hey Geshe, and all the other children become sorry, how dare you address the royal king, the royal highness king, as without respect like Geshe, right? Okay, tell me. This is the example that I'm giving you. And who are these people? Who are these the game players? These are analogous to what? Sentient beings. And the mother is analogous to what?
Buddha.
To the Buddha. You're getting it? Just as the mother does not have the conception that this is the king, The Buddha does not have the conception that, oh, this is a flower, this is this, this is this, this is this. The Buddha does not, say just a dream. Dream contents, they are created by what? Your dreaming mind, a deception mind. Only with the deception mind, sentient beings, the flower is imputed, all this is imputed by the deceptive minds. And the Buddha does not have the deceptive mind. So the Buddha does not have the thought process. Buddha has an omniscient mind, but he or she does not have the thought processes. Conceptualization is not there. The Buddha does not have that. Right? Oh, this is a flower. Oh, they are worshipping me. These thoughts are not there. Right? Conceptualization is, Buddha is totally freed of the conceptualizations. If the Buddha is freed of conceptualizations, then say, when you make prostrations to the Buddha, make offerings to the Buddha, how does the Buddha benefit you? Okay, so the example given was that, say, the wish fulfilling gem, right? Okay, in the past, there's mention of what's known as wish fulfilling gem. There's some gem there, the gem. It is the power to answer your prayers, right? So you say prayers to the gem, and then the prayer grants, the gem grants your prayers. So the gem doesn't have mind, right? And the magnet, you bring it closer towards the unfilings automatically attracted. The magnet does not have the feeling, the thought process. Then I should attract these magnets, I will leave all the wooden things, I'll pick up all the metallic things. It does not have the thought process. It is by dependent origination that the unfilings are attracted and the wooden things are not attracted. This is dependent origination. There's no thought process there. Likewise, the Buddha does not have the thought process. It is a dependent origination of the Buddha's own very powerful prayers which he did in the past. That these prayers are automatically operating on the sentient beings, that benefiting sentient beings. Right? Okay, let's read 35. Then just as a wish-fulfilling gem and wish-granting tree fulfills all wishes, wish-fulfilling gem and the wish-granting tree, they don't have the thought process, I will benefit sentient beings, I will not benefit sentient beings, but they fulfill the wishes and the prayers of the beings. Likewise, how the Buddha benefits us through the power of the prayers. Prayers made by the Buddha when he was a sentient being, when he was a Bodhisattva. When he was Bodhisattva, all the very powerful prayers, enlightened body of the victor. Enlightened body of the victor means the Buddha. The Buddha appears to the disciples, right? So, for example, if Kapicana has the karma purified, right? And then the Buddhas had already made very strong prayers in the past that may I be able to benefit each and every sentient being. Right? Each and every sentient being. Does it include you? Yes, Kapicana included. So when the Kapicana's negative emotions or the karmas are cleansed, then that power comes to the effect. Right? Say the cloud. The cloud gives rain, right? Rain showers, and then rain showers equally all along Bangalore. But places where the seeds of the flower are there to germinate. Where there is no seed of the flower will not germinate, right? The rain from the rain side is the same, but from the object, where there is a seed, they will germinate. Without the seed, even if there is a rain, it doesn't germinate. Likewise, the Buddha's blessings and prayers and blessings are equally pervading to every one of us. Where Kapicana's karma is more cleansed and pure, then the seed germinates from there, coming to the effect with the rain. In our case, the rain is there, but the seed is not prepared. You getting it? Okay. So this is how. So Buddhas, in fact, say we don't see the Buddhas now. We only see the statue like this, right? Now the point is that if your negative karma is cleansed, then the Buddhas appear to you instantly there. Buddhas appear to you, will start giving teachings to you. Right? Okay. The enlightened body of the Buddha, the Dita, appears to the disciples. 36. For example, when a Garutika healer, okay, one example given was that in the past, say there are some healers. Even nowadays there are healers, right? The healers are there. So the healer who does the healing on the basis of the Garuda is one, the being known as Garuda, right? This one being, it's a partly human being, partly birds like this. The Garuda there, very powerful. So this the healer, the practices the science, the art of healing related to this Garuda. So the healer has a tremendous power. So the healer, what the healer does is that he uses some, say, the cane or sticks, right? And then he or she consecrates this stick. Then he or she does the healing with the help of the stick, right? And when the healer dies, the stick is still there, the cane is still there. So when the cane still functions to heal others, meaning anybody who comes close to the cane, you pray your prayers, the cane can continue to help them. Even though the cane doesn't have the thought that I should help this person, I should not help this person, because of dependent origination of the enormous prayers and the procedures done by the healer before he died or before she died. So that cane still has that power to benefit beings. So therefore it is not that to benefit someone, it is not necessarily that you should have the thought process, I should benefit that person. That thought process is not required. Okay, 36. For example, when a Garutika healer who empowered a healing cane or stick has passed away, the person passed away, the cane is still left there. That cane can pacify poison and the like long after the healer's death. Cane does not have the thought, I will remove the poison from you, I will not remove the poison from you. That thought is not there, but it still has the effect, it still has the benefit. 37. Similarly, when a Bodhisattva has passed into nirvana, after setting up the reliquary body of a victor, in accordance with the Bodhisattva's conduct, he or she still performs all the necessary deeds. Okay, same on the Bodhisattva. The Bodhisattva, say you are a Bodhisattva. Imagine you are a Bodhisattva. Gate, paragate, samparasambhati, right? You are there. So Bodhisattva's job is to become a Buddha, right? So from that point of view, the transition from the Bodhisattvahood to the Buddhahood, this transition, so it is like, say, the passing away, right? Bodhisattva transforms into the Buddha. So the Bodhisattva is no more Bodhisattva, but the Bodhisattva becomes a Buddha, right? Okay, so what happened was that 37, when a Bodhisattva, you as a Bodhisattva, has passed into nirvana, meaning that you become a Buddha. You become a Buddha. When you're a Bodhisattva, you have the thought processes. Right? When you become a Buddha, the thought processes are the weakness. They are discarded. Thought processes are no more there when you become a Buddha in nirvana. After setting up the reliquary body of the victor, meaning that your body becomes a Buddha's body. Reliquary, meaning a very precious, say, the object of, say, making, say, prayers and so forth, as a stupa like this. So this, your body has become like the reliquary, because your body is going to Buddha's body. Okay. After setting up the reliquary body of the Buddha, the victor means Buddha. Why the Buddha is known as the victor is, the Buddha has won victory over all the negativities. So therefore he or she is known as the victor. In accordance with the Bodhisattva's conduct, meaning this Bodhisattva, how he or she is able to achieve Buddhahood, how he or she is able to change his body, her body, into the Buddha's body through the Bodhisattva practices. In accordance with the Bodhisattva's conduct, he or she still performs at one point when he or she becomes the Buddha. Buddha, thought processes stop. Only the direct omniscient mind is there. Thought process, I should help the person, I should not help it. All these thought processes stop, but he or she will still perform all the necessary deeds to benefit the sentient beings. You're getting it? It is by the dependent origination, phenomenon of dependent origination of the enormous power of the prayers, enormous power of the wisdom, enormous power of the accumulation of marriage with these things, that even after becoming Buddha, although the thought processes, active thought processes are not there, still continue to benefit beings. 38. Suppose you ask, how can offerings made to something lacking a mind give rise to a result? Say, we make prayers to the Buddha, we make offerings to the Buddha Shakyamuni, and Buddha Shakyamuni does not have the thought process. Thought is only with the sentient beings. Thoughts are only with the sentient beings. So, the Buddha Shakyamuni does not have the thought that, okay, I will accept your gift, right? Okay, I cannot accept your gift because you are not a kind person. So, these thought processes are not there. So, if somebody does not have the thought process, I'll accept the gift, then you making offering the gift in what way? In what way you accumulate merit? We say that, okay, you give something to the poor person who is needy, there the accumulation merit is more than you giving to somebody who is just in, who will not value what you are giving, who does not really require that. Why? Because the person who is in need of that has a tremendous thought that, oh, I'm benefited, right? I'm so happy, that person is so kind, it helped me. These active thought processes are there. So therefore, your accumulation merit is much more. But in case of Buddha, this thought process is not there. Oh, this person offered me the gift, the offerings, right? So I'm very happy. This thought process is not there. So how does one accumulate merit? When you make offerings to somebody like Buddha, who do not have the thought process of accepting your gift. Yes, I accept your gift. This thought process is not there. 38. How can offering made to someone lacking a mind? Mind meaning conceptual mind. A conceptual mind to accept offerings. Conceptual mind, such as accepting offerings, give rise to results, give rise to positive results. Well, because whether that Buddha is alive or has passed into nirvana, making offerings has been proclaimed to generate the same amount of merit. Okay, this is somewhat important. Say the Buddha Shakyamuni, 2,500 years ago, Buddha Shakyamuni appeared on this earth. Right? Now, in our eyes, the Buddha Shakyamuni already assumed Mahaparinirvana, which means that we cannot see him. But he's still there. He's there, we cannot see that because we don't have the karma to see him now. Right? Now, whatever is the case, say, in the eyes of ordinary beings, Buddha Shakyamuni assumed Mahaparinirvana. Right? Which means, in simple terms, he has already assumed the passing away. But 2,500 years ago, he was alive. So those people who were actually seeing the Buddha Shakyamuni, they made offerings, say a bunch of fruits. And today, we have the Buddha's statue, we don't see the Buddha still making offering of a bunch of fruit. Who accumulated more merit? This question. Buddha himself said that the two will accumulate the same amount of merit. This is what is said in the sutra. What sutra? Lion's Roar of Maitreya Sutra. Lion's Roar of Maitreya Sutra in Tibetan, Chamba Singi Daito. Chamba Singi Daito. In this sutra, Chamba Singi Daito, in this sutra, the Buddha himself said that somebody make offerings of same amount with the same intention, same motivation to the Buddha alive and to the Buddha after passing Mahaparinirvana, that merit is the same. You're getting it? Okay. So it is not that only if you have a thought process that merit accumulates. If there is no thought process in the recipient side, then you don't have the merit. This is not true. Okay, in this connection, I'd like to share with you one thing. For example, when you come to Delhi, Maitreya's Lion's Roar of Maitreya Sutra. Lion's Roar of Maitreya's Sutra. Chamba Singi Daito. lion's roar of Maitreya's, Buddha Maitreya's Sutra. Okay, so in this connection, so when you happen to be in Delhi, so one thing which is the most precious thing in Delhi, there's one thing, what is that?
Relics of the Buddha.
Buddha's relics, relics of the Buddha, right? In Bangalore, we have a beautiful Choe, wonderful.
Yeah, I have relics of Shakyamuni Buddha and Choe.
Same. So Choe relics there in Shakyamuni, in Choe there's relics there. Same, right? Same. So it is the Buddha himself said that saying prayers to the Buddha when he was alive, saying prayers to the relics of the Buddhas, same merit, Buddha said it, right? And the purpose for the Buddha, I say we have this relics means the remains of the bones, remains of the flesh, remains of the hairs, remains of the clothes, remains of anything of the past. These are the relics, right? So now, holy relics pertaining to Buddha's body, say the bones, mostly the bones, that's it. But the thing is that the Buddha can be seen in two ways. One, according to the common perception, ordinary perception of the Buddha, according to the historical account. One. And the one is the Buddha seen from the real biography, which is according to the perception, pure perception of the Bodhisattvas. One is the historical account, and one is the uncommon biography of the Buddha. Two. The real one is the uncommon biography. The historical account is more like a display. So according to the historical account, the Buddha passed away. According to historical account, passed away, and then his body was cremated, and the relics, the remains were being later on, after like 100 years, King Ashoka turned into Buddhism. Then he preserved all the relics, divided them into 8 portions, I think, at the time by Ananda, right? By Ananda and the king, very likely Ajashatru and all these kings, right? Divided into 8 segments for the 8 big empires. Then later on, King Ashoka came, and then he gathered all the Buddha relics, seeing that this is so precious, and he could foresee that in later times, after many centuries later, then people may come to destroy these relics. So seeing the danger of these dangers can happen in the future. So to avoid these dangers, even if one part is lost, but others can still be preserved, he made sure that these relics are distributed in various places far away from each other. So in the one place it is destroyed, others are still preserved. So it's been such a foresighted thought by King Ashoka. Okay, so now we have, for example, we have relics here. This is so precious, right? And then the Delhi in National Museum, there's the relics here, right? So they make prostrations, make offerings, saying prayers and so forth to the Buddha's relics. That the Buddha himself said that it equals doing these things in front of a living Buddha. Okay, this is one thing that I want to share with you. Okay, 39. According to scriptural authority, results accrue, whether or not, whether on the conventional or ultimate level, similar to the way you say that offerings made to a truly existent Buddha give results. Okay, let's say, right? Now, the Bodhisattva Shantideva is quoting the sutra. Scriptural authority meaning the sutras, Buddha's teachings. Okay, say, you're a person here, I'm Chittamata. And then say, from my point of view, you are nihilist. Yes, no? Because you are saying that nothing is objectively, in my eyes or in my mind, absence of objective existence equals nothingness. So therefore, to my mind, you are all nihilists. Right? Okay. So, I make prostrations, I make offerings. And you also make offerings. Right? You also make offerings. Although Although you say that even the offering is illusion-like, offering is actual material existence. But still you make offerings. Yes, no? Okay. Now, what you are telling me is that, okay, although I argue with you that you are a nihilist, right? How can you explain that accumulation of merit if you don't believe that the Buddha exists objectively, right? Never mind. Okay, you tell me. Let me make the offering first. Let me make the offering first. Let me show my respect. Illusion-like respect, illusion-like make offerings to the illusion of Buddha. You do it. Then I'll also do it. Right? Okay, so the two actions are happening. Two actions are happening. And then both of us, do we accumulate merit? Do I accumulate merit? Answer is yes. How? Say, both of us are hungry. And then, say, SPC, bring some food. And you eat, you say that, oh, I'm eating the dreamlike food. This dreamlike I'm eating the dreamlike food, and dreamlike hunger will disappear. And I will say, no, objectively existent food I'm eating. Right? Objectively existent I will eat objectively existent food, and objectively existent hunger will disappear. Right? Okay, this debate is happening. But we eat the same food. What's the purpose of eating food? Remove the hunger. Does it happen to both, or it happens only to me? It happens to both. Likewise, showing respect to the Buddha and so forth, you say that it's illusion-like. I say it's objectively real, it's not illusion-like. Whatever is the case, you perform the respect, you show respect, I show respect, we both receive the benefit. Right? Okay. So this is how, right? How it is saying that even if, what is the difference between illusion and illusion-like?
Cause and effect.
Oh, don't just say cause and effect. Hey, be very precise. Choe was saying. What's the difference between Choe was to be, no, Choe was. What's the difference between illusion and illusion-like?
Illusion
does not follow cause and effect.
Yes, efficacy of the cause and effect is found only in the illusion-like, not in the illusion. Illusion defines. Illusion, within illusion, it can define the cause and effect, whereas cause and effect efficacy, whereas within illusion-like, cause and effect operate so efficaciously. You're getting it? Right? So therefore, making offerings, illusion-like make offerings, right? Offerings, benefit is the result, offering is the cause. So this efficacy of cause and effect is still happening within what? Illusion-like, not within illusion. So therefore the Prasangikas, they're not saying that everything is illusion, everything is illusion-like, where the cause and effect efficacy is still there. You're getting it? So while rejecting objective existence, it does not affect the efficacy of the cause and effect relationship. So this is the Prasangika's standpoint. Okay, good. Okay, illusion-like is where the efficacy of the cause and effect is seen. Efficacy, meaning the accuracy of the cause and effect operation is seen. Whereas in illusion, it defines, it can define the cause and effect efficacy. Illusion and illusion-like both are mental creation, right? Both are mental creation. Illusion is a mental creation which doesn't follow the cause-effect relationship. Whereas illusion-like is a mental creation which follows the cause and effect relationship. This is the difference. Okay, good. 39. According to scriptural authority, results accrue whether on a conventional or ultimate level. Meaning, ultimate level, similar to the way you can say that offerings made to a truly existing Buddha give results. Saying I say that ultimately, objectively, everything exists objectively. From your point of view, everything exists objectively means everything exists ultimately. This is what I say. And you say nothing exists objectively, nothing exists ultimately. Right? But what we do, both do the same action. Both do the same action, both reap the same benefit. Right? Okay, in other words, what I'm going to tell you is that you accepting that everything is illusion-like and still accepting the law of cause and effect so efficaciously, there is no contradiction. Whereas I see contradiction in you. What contradiction? Between what? Between accepting things as illusion-like and accepting the efficacy of cause and effect. I say that this is not possible. You say that this is possible. Now, whose job is it? It's your job to prove me that these two things do not contradict. If you have to prove that, then I will come out of my ignorance and will join you. What should you prove me?
Law of cause and effect can operate on illusion life.
Law of cause and effect can precisely, efficaciously operate on the level of the illusion-like nature. Right? Whereas why I'm debating with you is because I cannot accept that if something is illusion-like, then the law of cause and effect cannot operate. How? How? Let me explain to you. How? Okay. This flower is subjectively imputed according to you, yes? Imaginary flower is also subjectively imputed according to you, right? Both are coming from the subject, you right? You agree with me?
Yes.
You agree with me? Both come from the subjective mind. If both come from subjective mind, both become imaginary. Right? Both are imaginary. Here, this is in your thought.
One has mutual dependence between subject and object.
Oh, there's object here.
There is an object.
There's object there. From the object there is a flower there. Object here. Wow.
Subjectively, we see.
Rashmi, come to my side. Object is here. There's a mutual operation. Wow, amazing. Rashmi, come to my side. Anyone else would like to come to my side?
In one case,
Yes.
in one case there is a base on which the mind imputes.
Okay, now Rashmi will also come to me, right? Okay, tell me how. In one case, in the imaginary flower, there is no basis here. In the case of this flower, the real flower, there is a basis. What basis is there? Tell me.
The objects.
What this object?
The flower.
This is illusion-like, while this is illusion.
How is this illusion like? That's what I'm saying. Illusion like, what makes you think this illusion like? Does it come from the mind? Yes, no? Hey, Rohit, say it again. Huh? What is the basis there? Tell me. What is the basis there for you to see the flower? If there's a basis there, why should your mind impute it? No need. Object is there, basis is there, right? Why should you then him come next to me behind me? Okay, anyone else who will start with me? Hey,
What do you say, Shanti?
who has to defend me as Shantideva?
No, I think that I forgot what I said.
Okay, after studying all this, after coming to stanza 35, completion 35, you are coming after me. Right?
Well, that can be imputed to the self-cognizing mind. The self-cognizing mind.
No, you don't have self-cognizing. You are the Pasangika, I'm the self-cognizing mind. I'm Chittamantra. I'm asking you that this flower is subjective real or objective real? Tell me. You are
Subjective.
Bodhisattva Shantideva student, right? Don't make an embarrassment to Bodhisattva Shantideva. Subjective real.
Three criteria that for something to be convention existent.
Okay, this is subjective real, right? Because before the three criteria, with the subjective real.
Yes.
This flower.
Yes.
Imagine flower also subjective real.
Yes.
Both are coming from your mind. Nothing is from the object. Right?
There is something.
There's something there. Come. If there's something there, that is known as objective reality, right? This is what I'm saying, right? Now, okay.
In this case, the flower can
No,
also-
what? Jesse, you're coming with me or what? Okay, let's see. Yes.
So in this case, the
The same object can be subject to two analysis. Conventional analysis, ultimate analysis. So what?
So, and you can prove the emptiness of the flower in this case, but here for an imaginary thing you cannot prove the emptiness because it is illusion.
But this the imaginary flower is the illusion. Whereas this flower, you can speak about the emptiness of this flower by subject to this ultimate analysis, and you speak about the flower when subject to the conventional analysis. Now this imaginary flower, you subject to this conventional analysis is imaginary flower. You subject ultimate analysis is emptiness of imaginary flower. Same. Okay, you come with me. Okay, anyone else who's ready to come with me? Next will go Anita. You want to come with me? Tell me.
No, but see.
Okay, to the fourth question. The question is, there's the flower here.
Subjectively.
There's a flower there. Red flower there. This exists subjectively. Yes. Imaginary blue flower, it exists subjectively. Yes. Both nothing is from the object. All comes from the subject. Both imaginary. Both imaginary.
No, this is imaginary, but
This is not imaginary, but this comes from mind.
imputation is coming from the mind.
Mind. So,
A label is coming from
okay, label from the mind, but something is there. Yes. This is what I'm saying. Yes, say it again. Label is coming from your mind, but something is there. Okay, label is coming, but the labeled is coming from the object. Label is coming from the subject. Label. What is labeled? Right? When labeled, that is coming from the object. The label is coming from the subject, but what is to be labeled, that is coming from the object. That is known as objective existence. Okay, now Dr. Anita is with me. Anyone else wants to come with me? Okay, sure. Okay. Now sure. Okay, listen, yes. Yes.
An imaginary flower.
Sarah,
An
yes.
imaginary flower.
Yes.
I can think about it being blue and big, and then I can think about it being big and small, and it will change.
Okay, imagine a flower. I can imagine it in any ways I like.
Yes, and it will change according
Okay,
to my.
this is red, the next one is blue, and oh, it's very big, it's small, whatever I think, that's fine. So what is this?
Yeah. Even if I try to think that this flower is blue, it will still appear.
It will still remain as red.
Yes.
Because?
Because although it's a mental implication, it depends on some causes and conditions.
Depends on what?
It depends on some causes and conditions.
What causes conditions? There's something there. Something there. What's the condition? Something there, right? Something there. Okay, shall I come in here? Okay. Now when we look at that.
Because on that, you don't think about the flower.
Yes.
So when the mind doesn't think about the flower,
Yes.
then the flower disappears. Whereas for this red flower, even if you don't think about it,
Okay. Okay. So the imaginary flower, the moment you start thinking about it, the imaginary flower disappears. But this red flower, if you don't think about it, still the flower remains. What is left? So without imputation, so impure mind, even without impure mind, still the flower exists. Yes? So there's a flower which is independent of the impure mind. That is objective flower. Okay. Anyone else know?
What is the answer? Yes, now.
Okay. Okay, so which part we are reading? 39. According to scriptural authority, results accrue whether conventional or ultimate, right? Whether it's a conventional, ultimate, right? Whatever you may call it, but the results of the efficacy of the cause and effect is there, even though things are subjectively real. You're getting it? Okay. So what's the answer? You know it.
Dependent origination.
Oh, dependent origination, right? How? Dependent on
Things
what?
exist on being merely
But dependent on other factors, like what?
mind and other factors.
The mind. Even without the mind, it can exist, right?
No.
No. When the mind removes, when we all leave this hall, the flower disappears. Okay, this is very complicated. Okay, I remember Adela is more courageous. Right? When we leave the hall, it doesn't matter, it's still the air. Which means independent of the mind, the flower is still in the air. independent of this subjective mind, intuitive mind, so far there is no objective existence. Okay, so okay, what advancement to Bodhisattva Shantideva? Okay, let us see. Let's see. Now the next part. Establishing that the wisdom of emptiness is ultimately the true path, even to achieve liberation. This is a very important discussion. This is a very important discussion. This is again the same thing which is being discussed and debated in the monastic universities for extended period of time. This is a very important topic. The point is that there's a discussion happening between the Prasangikas and the other Buddhist schools. You get it? Between the Prasangikas and other Buddhist schools. What the Buddha said is, okay, listen. What the Buddha said is that without seeing the selflessness of person, there's no liberation. Without seeing the selflessness, without having the wisdom of selflessness, you will not have liberation. You will not have liberation. You will not achieve nirvana. You getting it? This is what the Buddha said. Tell me what the Buddha said. Just paraphrase what I said. Without having the wisdom of selflessness, you will not have nirvana or liberation. Okay. Then the question arises, what is this selflessness? What do you mean by selflessness? You getting it? What do you mean by selflessness? Let's say selflessness of person. Let's say selflessness of person. What do you mean? Okay, listen. First let's say, what do you understand by selflessness? Okay. We have to know 5 things. We have to know 5 things. To know what is selflessness, we have to know 5 things. 1. The selflessness of permanent, unitary, independent self. Selflessness of permanent, unitary, independent self. 1. Number 2. Selflessness of autonomous, substantial reality. Number 2. Selflessness of permanent, unitary, independent self. Number 2. Selflessness of autonomous, substantial reality. Number 2.
Permanent, unitary,
and independent self. Permanent, unitary, independent self. Number 1. Number 2. Selflessness of autonomous, substantial reality. Number 2. Number 3. Selflessness of external reality. Number 3. Selflessness of external reality. Number 4. Selflessness of true existence while not rejecting objective existence. Number 4. Selflessness of true existence while not rejecting objective existence. Finally, the selflessness of objective existence. Okay, finally, selflessness of objective / inherent / how many we got?
8.
We got 8, right? We got 8. Okay, these 8 will all go here. Okay, let me see this again. Number 1. What is number 1? Selflessness of permanent, unitary, independent self. What is number 2? Selflessness of autonomous, substantial reality. What is number 3? Selflessness of external reality. What is number 4? Selflessness of true existence while not rejecting objective existence. Finally, the selflessness of objective existence. Okay, these are the 5 levels, right? To understand selflessness, to understand the wisdom of selflessness so well, you have to understand all these 5. All these 5. You're getting it? Okay. What do you mean by selflessness? The Buddha said you have to realize selflessness if you want nirvana, if you want liberation. Right? This is what the Buddha said. Now, what do you mean by selflessness? Then the different Buddhist schools, they differ. You're getting it? Because selflessness, there are 5 levels of selflessness, 5 levels. Which should I know? Which should I know in order to achieve liberation? This question. So, 4 Buddhist schools, the 4 Buddhist schools, they got divided into 2 groups. Prasangika on the one side, and all the other Buddhist schools on the other side. You getting it? So other schools say they accept the same Buddha's teaching, but the Buddha said one must have the wisdom of emptiness in order to be liberated from samsara. What is that wisdom of selflessness? Then the two parties, they came with different interpretations, right? Okay, the lower schools, except for Prasangya, all the other schools, they say that when the Buddha said we have to understand selflessness, this is the selflessness of autonomous substantial reality. Number three, not the number 4, not number 5.
Number 2.
Oh, number 2, sorry, number 2. Yeah, thank you. So when the Buddha said that you have to understand the selflessness of selflessness, you have to have the wisdom of selflessness, right? You have to understand the selflessness in order to achieve nirvana, achieve freedom from all the miseries. That's selflessness. The lower schools, they say that the Buddha meant by the selflessness of autonomous substantial reality, second level. Whereas the Prasangya says, no, this is very gross. This is very gross, right? This is very gross. The Buddha means the fifth one, selflessness of objective existence. Okay, so now the two schools, they debate following stanzas, stanza 40 down to 55. Stanza 40, 15 stanzas. 15 stanzas are dedicated to this debate between the two schools. Lower school says what? In order to achieve liberation, achieve nirvana, one does not have to understand the emptiness and selflessness of objective existence. What one has to understand? One has to understand the selflessness of autonomous substantial reality. If you understand this, if you can practice this thoroughly, you will be liberated. Whereas Prasangya says, no, this is not sufficient. You will not be liberated. You will be still in samsara until you realize the selflessness of objective, selflessness in the context of emptiness of objective existence. Okay, this is the debate happening between two schools. Yes, Rabiji?
Autonomous substantial reality means objective.
No, it's very gross. Right? Okay. So in a way, Rashmi is nice way of asking what do you mean by autonomous substantial reality, right? This is what you're asking?
Yes.
Yes, I know that. Yeah. Wow, very smart. Okay, yes, Raviji, your question?
I was just asking that it's possible to just slightly in brief about the difference between the five.
Wow, the same thing. Okay, can you briefly, it's a nice way of saying, right? Okay, briefly just tell me all this five very quickly. Okay, just in a way saying that explain what these five are. Okay, first one. What's the first one?
Permanent, unitary.
Emptiness, permanent, emptiness or the selflessness, emptiness of permanent, unitary, independent self. Meaning that I am the person, the self. This I have the body and the mind. My body is impermanent. My mind is impermanent. I and my body, my mind, these two are different entities. I remove my mind, I remove my body, still there's I. I am permanent, my body is impermanent. It doesn't matter, it's my body which is impermanent. My mind is impermanent, never mind, my mind is impermanent, keep it away. This I is still permanent. And my body has many parts, this I does not have parts. My mind has many parts, this I does not have any parts. This mind depends on other factors, like learning. To have a good mind of wisdom and emptiness, you have to learn, you have to attend classes, you have to come to Montfort, right? All these factors are required. But this I is independent, it doesn't depend on any other factors. My body depends on the food. This I doesn't depend on anything. So therefore, this I is permanent, unitary and independent. What I'm seeing change here is just the body. Change the body, change the mind. there's a split between I and the aggregates of the I, right? So this is known as viewing the self to be permanent, unitary, independent. Whereas, when you realize that this I is nothing other than the five aggregates. Okay, I'm a boy, I'm a girl. On the basis of what? My body. Right? Oh, I'm compassionate, I'm not so compassionate. It's on the basis of my mind. On the basis of my mind, on the basis of my body, then this I is described. Like the table, the top line of the table, the left of the table, they are both made of wood. We say table is wood. There's no, remove the top line and the legs, there's no table separate there. The table is description on the basis of the parts. Likewise, I am a description on the basis of my parts. Because the parts are impermanent, the self is impermanent. Because the top line and the roots are parts of wood, the table is wood. Because the top line and the legs, they are metal, the table is metal. Likewise, my body and my mind, they are impermanent, I am impermanent, I am not permanent. My body and my mind, they have multiple parts, I have multiple parts. My body and my mind, they are dependent, I am dependent. So therefore, I'm empty of permanent, unitary and independent nature. One. What is number two? Number two is easy. Number two is easy. That we can skip. Number two is easy. So number three, we're done.
Number two only I asked you.
It's okay. Number two, you want number two. Number two is easy actually. Okay. Number two is pertaining to the identification of the self. Identification of objects, let's say. Pertaining to the identification of the objects. Number two. Number three, number four, number five, they are pertaining to the mode of existence of the object. Number two is pertaining to the identification of the object. Number 3, 4, 5 pertain to the mode of existence of the object. Okay, how? Number 2, say, okay, are you, say, if you're looking at Mr. A, okay, let's say, are you seeing the hall? What hall is this? That's hall A. Hall 13, 1-3. Okay, hall 13. Let's say, Montfort, hall number 13. Are you seeing Montfort, hall number 13? Are you seeing this? Are you in Montfort, hall number 13?
Yes.
Are you sure? How do you know this? Just a number. This number is not hole number 13. Are you seeing it? Are you seeing hole number 13? Are you in hole number 13?
Your body is in it.
Your body is in. Okay, do you see that? Do you see that you are in hole number 13?
Yes.
Do you see that hole number 13? Do you see the hole number 13?
Yes.
Okay, where's hole 13?
Here.
Here. Okay, tell me. What you are really seeing is a very thin layer of the inside. Thin layer of the skin. This is not the hall. This is the hall. What you're really seeing is just a thin layer. You're not seeing inside. What is inside the walls? There are so many millions and billions of atoms. With the same wall, there are billions of atoms one after the other. You are not seeing all these billions of atoms. You are just seeing very thin film. That's not the hall. You agree with me? You agree with me? Now, but we say that yes, I identify the hall by identifying something which is not hall. You getting it? So the number 2 is pertaining to the identification. When you identify the hall, you cannot identify the hall independently. You have to identify the hall by dependence on identifying something which is not the hall. What do you identify? You identify a very thin surface. Thin surface. What is outside? It's just a paint. Paint is not the hall, right? We have just identified the paint. Paint of the wall. Paint is not the hall. Paint is not the hall. You identify that, and then on that basis you say that I identify the hall. So the hall is something which comes into being. Where you identify that by identifying something else which is not the hall. Right? So therefore, if in terms of identification, you have to identify something else, you cannot identify the whole directly. So the identification, there's no autonomy there. Autonomous substantial. There's no autonomy there. Right? Autonomy meaning that you are independent of identifying something else. You have to identify something else in order to identify the whole. You getting it? So you cannot identify the whole directly, autonomously. Autonomously meaning, okay, I'd like to approach Shantideva, right? To ask for what is Choe meaning. And then Rahimji is Shantideva's secretary. Rahimji says, no, you cannot meet her, she's very busy, right? Okay, so I cannot autonomously approach Shantideva. I have to approach the room, someone else who's not Shantideva. You getting it? So which means I don't have the freedom, I don't have the autonomy to approach Shantideva directly. I have to approach the secretary. You getting it? Likewise, I cannot approach the hall directly. I have to approach something which is not the hall in order to approach the hall. You getting it? So there's no autonomy there. Autonomy is lost. Now, not only autonomy is lost, there is no substance there. Because the thin layer is not the hall. You remove the thin layer. Right? What we do for the emptiness, similar to that. You remove the thin layer, it's not the hall. You pick up anything, it's not the hall. So there's no substance there. There's no substance there to say that I see this and I see the hall. There's no substance there. What you see is always something which is non-hall. So there's no substance to be called as a hall, which you see and you say that I see the hall. There's no substance. You have to see something else which is not hall. You have to see a substance which is not hall. You getting it? So therefore, the hall is empty of autonomous, substantial reality. If you understand this, oh, that's true. How am I identifying the hall? I'm just identifying something else which is not a hall. And that is said to identify the hall. Finish. Beyond this, there's no way by which I can identify the hall. So therefore, hall is just like illusion, but a very gross illusion. Right? Very gross level of illusion as compared to the illusion on understanding. Illusion like on understanding of emptiness of objective existence. This is very gross. Right? Number 3. What is number 3? Emptiness of external reality. That we are done. You're expert. What is next? Okay. Number 4 and number 5. These two are okay. Trend is similar. Trend is similar, but there's a stark contrast in subtlety. Number 4 and number 5. There's stark contrast in subtlety, but the trend in terms of proving the emptiness of true existence. So the number 4 is accepted by Svatanta Madhyamika. Number 5 is accepted by Prasangika. You getting it? Number 1, number 2 are accepted by all schools. Number 1, number 2 accepted by all Buddhist schools. Number 3 accepted by, number 3 is accepted by Chittamatra and one part of Svatanta Madhyamika. Yogacara Svatanta Madhyamika. Right? Number 3. Number 4 is accepted only by Svatanta Madhyamika. Number 5 is accepted only by Prasangika. So this is what we have to keep in mind. Okay. Going back to the point. Yes. Yes, Abhinji.
3, 4, and 5 pertain to the mode of.
Okay. 3 the same. The number 2 pertains to the mode of identification. Number 3, 4, 5 pertains to the mode of existence. How do things exist? Not just identification. How do things exist independently or by dependence on other factors, right? So this is the difference. Okay. Now, what made us go into this declaration? Anyone remembers this? Huh?
Whether the self-grasping ignorance is the root of samsara, or what is that? To attain liberation.
To attain liberation, we should have the wisdom of the selflessness. What is this selflessness? Of the 5, which selflessness should one realize in order to achieve liberation? Okay, I want 3 people to articulate this or paraphrase this question so that I got the impression that you really understood the question in order for me to go through the following stanzas. I need 3 people. Right? Volunteer. I need 3 who can articulate the question. Right? What we're doing. Tonani, that is 1. Okay, Arvind, number 2. I need a 3rd volunteer, without which I'm not going to go. Anyone else?
I already paraphrased.
Huh?
I already said it. Here.
Okay, there are 3. Let's say Tonanita. Let's listen to what's the question? What I'm asking? What is the question related to the following stanzas? How the following stanzas come to be? What question takes us to the following stanzas?
The Buddha says that selflessness is required to achieve nirvana. So what?
Selflessness is not required. Selflessness is always with us.
The realization
Selflessness is required.
is required to achieve nirvana.
Yes.
So what exactly is the selflessness? And so that there is schools differ, and so that is going to be the next.
Wonderful. So when the Buddha said that one has to have the realization of selflessness in order to be free from samsara to achieve nirvana. What do you mean by the selflessness? Out of the 5 levels of selflessness, which selflessness should be realized in order to achieve nirvana? Okay, Amit? Yes, what is that?
Plus, it's going to be a debate between number 2 and number 5.
What is before the plus? What is that, the basis of plus?
Without the wisdom of selflessness, we cannot achieve nirvana.
Wonderful. Then,
So what is selflessness?
what is that selflessness?
Selflessness is 1, 2, 3.
Which of out of the 5, which selflessness you are talking about?
So
Which selflessness Buddha is talking about? This is the question.
the selflessness of permanent, unitary.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine, yes. Which of the 5 the Buddha is referring to? So this is the debate,
This is the debate between
Prasangika and other Buddhist schools.
That's
Prasangika says what?
Prasangika says that it will.
Okay, let's see, the other schools say what?
Other schools are saying that it's selflessness of autonomous
Autonomous substantial reality. Prasangika says no, this is not sufficient. One must have to understand the selflessness in the context of emptiness of objective existence. You are getting it? This is a debate. Okay, how many are ready? Are we going to step here?
7:30.
Huh?
Isha, you haven't completed this one.
What? Which one?
Prove that the cause of the laws of cause and effect operate on illusion.
Yes. So illusion like an illusion. You did not finish it. You didn't give the answer. Yeah. We all said
illusion
but I said we all came to your side.
No, what should I give the answer? This is all about following me now.
No, but then what sort of Prasangika?
Now you become Prasangika.
Huh?
Now you become Prasangika.
With me? Okay, so you remind me later.
Let's finish this one.
Okay, so this will come here.
Oh.
This will come here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good, I'm happy. Okay, let's see now. Now, the 2 schools, it says, okay, stanza 40. Okay, let's see. If the title establishing that the wisdom of emptiness is out, emptiness meaning emptiness of objective existence. Wisdom of emptiness of objective existence is ultimately the true path. True path, okay, listen. True path, even to achieve liberation. Even to achieve liberation. This should be added. Even to achieve liberation. Let alone achieving Buddhahood. Even to achieve liberation, nirvana, you have to have the wisdom of emptiness of objective existence, right? Okay, now, stanza 40. Suppose like the Hinayanists and hotels. Okay, during the group discussions, during the tea time, we had a discussion, right? Okay, this is very important. Saying Mahayana Hinayana. Mahayana Hinayana. When you speak of Mahayana Hinayana, nowadays it is better not to use the word Hinayana as much, right? But for the sake of the discussion, that's Mahayana Hinayana. Mahayana Hinayana, we have to understand it in 2 contexts. In the context of practice, in the context of philosophy. In the context of practice, in the context of philosophy. You getting it? Hinayana philosophy, Mahayana philosophy. Hinayana practice, Mahayana practice. Practice, philosophy too. And these two are not really directly linked. They have the same label, Hinayana, Mahayana. The same label is shared, but understanding is very different. Okay, president. Okay, where's the president? Right? Where's the president? Say the president of Choe. Where's the president? And let's say Shantideva. Everybody says, oh, Shantideva is the president. Right? And actually, who was asking this? The Obama was asking, where's the president? Right? He was not looking for the Choe president, he was looking for the Indian president. Right? So with the same label, the context is very different. Likewise, Hinayana practice, Mahayana practice, Hinayana philosophy, Mahayana philosophy, these are very different. Don't try to correlate anything between the two things. It's very different, right? In the context of philosophy, in the context of practice. Okay, first let us discuss in the context of practice. In fact, Hinayana, Mahayana, so it has a greater relevance with the practice, because Hinayana, Hin has a connotation small, Maha connotation big or great, right? It might be great and small, right? It is to do with the scope of your thinking, thinking for all sentient beings versus thinking for oneself too. Which is greater? Think for all. Think for oneself is very small as compared to thinking for all. So anybody who wants to engage the practice to benefit oneself becomes Hinayana practitioner. Anybody who wants to engage in practice for the benefit of all sentient beings, this becomes Mahayana practitioner. So any practice is designed to make you become a Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, that practice is known as Mahayana practice. Any practice to design for your personal liberation, that practice is known as Hinayana practice. You getting it? As simple as that. Next is the philosophy. Hinayana philosophy, Mahayana philosophy. It has nothing to do with the practice. Okay. How many Buddhist philosophy schools are there? 4. What are they? Vaibhashika, Sautrantika, Chittamatra, Madhyamika. 4. The two, and these 4, the order is put in such a way that progressively they become more and more profound. Progressively the schools become, as you go higher, progressively it becomes more profound. So the first two schools are known as Hinayana philosophical school. Hinayana meaning a smaller school, less profound. And Chittamatra Mahayana, no, Chittamatra what? Madhyamika. These two are known as Mahayana philosophy, because the philosophy wise is more profound. Mahayana philosophy. Now, if you try to bring the two things together, Mahayana practitioner, what is the philosophy of Mahayana practitioner? Philosophy, there are two philosophy, Mahayana philosophy and Hinayana philosophy. Right? Mahayana practitioner practices which of the two philosophy? Mahayana philosophy or Hinayana philosophy? Huh?
You can practice any philosophy.
Yes. Say you're born, day one you're born, and your thinking is, oh, I want to benefit all sentient beings. So which means that you have a Mahayana thinking. And then you meet with the teacher. And the teacher is following South school. Teacher is following South school, right? And then you listen to the teacher and you follow this teacher. So you follow which school? South school. But thinking wise, you are thinking for all beings. Because you are thinking for all beings, you are Mahayana practitioner. Philosophy wise, your philosophy is Hinayana philosophy. Why? Your philosophy is, it belongs to the lower section, lower quality, which is the South school. This is the Hinayana philosophy. Okay, say somebody wants to, okay, no, I can't really benefit all certain things. I must go for myself, right? How can I achieve nirvana? then the person goes and the person meets with the Madhyamik philosopher, right? Madhyamik philosopher. He went to Arya Nagarjuna, right? Please, I know that you want to benefit all sentiments. I know Arya Nagarjuna you are, but I cannot really go for all. Please teach me how to achieve enlightenment. So what philosopher Arya Nagarjuna will teach you? Madhyamik philosophy. He'll teach you Madhyamik philosophy. So your thinking is small, hidden thinking, hidden practice, practitioner, but your philosophy is Madhyamik philosophy, Mahayana philosophy. You're getting it? This is what we need to keep in mind. Okay, now with this, let us read the following. Suppose, stanza 40, suppose like the Hinayanist tenet holders, you would then object. Okay, now say, you are Prasangika, Madhyamika, Prasangika. Oh no, what? But about the need to realize selflessness to achieve nirvana, right? So debate is between who and who? Prasangika and all the other Buddhist schools. Prasangika, not between Madhyamika and other schools. Is it between Madhyamika and other schools? Why not? Why not Madhyamika and other schools? Because within Madhyamika there is Svatantric Madhyamika who believes in the same way the other schools believe. So therefore it is between Prasangika and the remaining Buddhist schools, right? There's a debate between two of them. So what is the position of the other schools? What is the position of the other schools when debating?
Self-awareness of autonomous substantial reality.
Do not require emptiness of objective existence.
It does not require to see the emptiness of objective existence. You can just see the selflessness of autonomous substantial reality. That suffices you to take to nirvana. What's the Prasangika's position?
You have to realize the objective.
Yes, Rahim.
That is not enough. We need to realize the selflessness of objective.
The selflessness in the context of the emptiness of objective existence. Very good. Okay, now this is debate between the two parties. Okay, we are reading stanza 40, right? Stanza 40, it reads what? Suppose, like the Hinayanist tenet holders, you then object. But since liberation occurs through seeing the Four Noble Truths, what is the use of seeing emptiness? This is what the lower schools are telling Prasangika. Four Noble Truths, here as understood by the lower schools, where the what are the Four Noble Truths? Suffering, cause of suffering,
Cessation of suffering, path leading to cessation.
and path leading to cessation. So each of these four truths, they have four characteristics. The first truth, what is the first truth? Truth of suffering. It has four characteristics. What are the four characteristics? Impermanence, suffering, emptiness, selflessness, right? So now, emptiness, selflessness, these two together, these two are very gross one in the context of this one. These two together is the selflessness. So when we say the Four Noble Truths, how the Four Noble Truths is understood by the lower schools and how the Four Noble Truths are understood by the Prasangika is very different. How the Four Noble Truths are understood by the lower schools is that they say impermanence, suffering, emptiness, selflessness, this is very gross. These two combined together gives you the understanding of the selflessness of autonomous substantial reality. These two together will give you the understanding of selflessness of autonomous substantial reality. So when the lower schools, they argue that it's simply by understanding Four Noble Truths you can achieve nirvana, no need to achieve emptiness, no need to realize emptiness. This is what lower schools say. When they say this, Four Noble Truths, they are actually referring to the which selflessness? autonomous substantial reality. In a way, they are saying that simply by understanding the substance of autonomous substantial reality, one can achieve nirvana. No need to see the emptiness. Okay, what is the use of seeing emptiness? I will ask this question once again. I will ask somebody, I will ask the group to give me the interpretation of the first two lines. But since liberation occurs through seeing the Four Noble Truths, what is the use of seeing emptiness? Right? How do you relate this? Since the liberation occurs through seeing the Four Noble Truths with, how do you relate this first line with understanding of this selflessness of autonomous substantial reality? This is my question to you, right? I'm going to say this again. How do you relate the first line? It says, but since liberation occurs through seeing the Four Noble Truths, what is the use of seeing emptiness? Who says this? All the Buddhist schools except Prasantika. So when they say, since liberation occurs through the seeing the Four Noble Truths, what are they indicating? Four Noble Truths on the basis of understand which level of selflessness? Selflessness or autonomous substantial reality. Right? Four Noble Truths can be understood in terms of philosophy. Four Noble Truths on the basis of the understanding of the philosophy of selfless or autonomous substantial reality. Four Noble Truths on the basis of the philosophy of emptiness or objective existence. The same Four Noble Truths can be understood on two levels, one gross and the subtle. Gross one is Four Noble Truths on the basis of the philosophy of emptiness or autonomous substantial reality. This is how remaining schools, all schools, accept. Whereas Prasangas accepts the Four Noble Truths on the basis of the philosophy of emptiness of objective existence. This is different. So here, Four Noble Truths meaning Four Noble Truths on the basis of the philosophy of, if you can note it down, on the basis of the philosophy of the selflessness of autonomous substantial reality. The first one. But since liberation occurs through seeing Four Noble Truths on the basis of the philosophy of emptiness of autonomous substantial reality, what is the use of seeing emptiness or objective existence? Right? This is how we should understand it. Okay, so this question asked by the lower schools. Now Prasantika, well, why? Because in scriptures. Okay, now Prasantika is given the answer in two ways. One, by citing the scriptures, sutras, and one by giving the reasons. Two things, in two ways. Okay, first it says, well, why? Because in scripture it's proclaimed that without this path, there is no enlightenment. It's the Buddha himself who said that without the wisdom of emptiness or objective existence, there is no liberation. In Tibetan, this is the quote from the sutra. Meaning someone with a view of objective existence, there is no liberation. This is what the Buddha said. Right? So, the Buddha said that without this wisdom of emptiness or objective existence, there is no liberation. Okay. Because in scriptures it's proclaimed that without this path, there is no enlightenment. Now the lower schools, they argue against this position. Lower schools say that, which scripture? Where is this scripture? Where is this sutra? Then the Mahayana will say that in the Mahayana Sutras, right? Then they will say, Mahayana Sutra is not actually sutras. This is what they argue. Mahayana Sutra is what the Arya Nagarjuna and these people they created. It's not what Buddha taught. This is the dispute. It's a huge dispute. Since the time of Arya Nagarjuna, 2000 years ago, this was the dispute. That the Theravada traditions, they don't accept the Mahayana Sutras as the Buddha's teachings, right? So say, Holy One, suppose you can object, but Mahayana is not established as valid. It is not really the Buddha's teaching, right? Okay, the Mahayana people say that, no, Hinayana, they are very small. The Theravada will say that Mahayana, they are not Buddhists in the first place. Right? So this is the debate happening. Okay. So, but Mahayana is not established as valid. It's not really the valid teaching of the Buddha, right? So why are we citing the Mahayana Sutra? It has nothing to do with Buddha. Okay, well, how can your scriptures be established? Then Prasangika is asking those schools, right? How would you prove that those scriptures, the scriptures you use as Buddha scriptures, how would you say that these are the Buddha's teachings? How can you prove that? How can you say this? How can your scriptures be established? If you answer, because they are established for both parties. Meaning that, say, I'm from the lower school and you're the Prasangika. Then I say that my scriptures, the scriptures which I accept Buddha scriptures, they are accepted by you as well as me. Right? Okay, therefore this is a very standard Buddha's teachings. Because they are established for both parties. Well, you should accept that they were not established for you from the start. In the first place, they were not established. How not established? Well, for you, any criterion that would give confidence in them will equally apply to the Mahayana scriptures too. Whatever makes you think that the scripture which you accept as the Buddha's teachings exactly applies to the Mahayana scriptures also. How? Line 3, 42. Line 3. And if acceptance by two different parties would make something true as the Buddha's teaching, then the Vedas and so on also would become true. Meaning, say the Buddhists say the minor teachings, they are really controversial. Okay, this is what the lower schools would say, right? But the lower schools, they try to defend their position. Their sutra, what they accept sutras, they are very standard because two people agree. If simply because two sides agree, so therefore it becomes a very standard sutras or standard teachings, then the non-Buddhist philosophers, for example, Vedanta, say the Nyaya, Sankhya, then the Mimamsaka, these philosophers, there are also many the parties, they agree that, oh yes, this teaching, the Nyaya teaching is accurate, both parties can accept. So therefore you should also say that that is also a valid teaching. Right? But you reject them. You reject them through logic and through, say, the experience and so forth. Okay, this is a very beautiful tradition in the past. Nowadays, it is better not to do like this. In the past, people debate. Different traditions, they debate. Literally, they debate, right? Say the Buddhist scholars and the Nyaya scholars, Vedanta scholars, Mimamsaka scholars, then the Sankhya scholars, they actually debate amongst each other, right? Amongst each other, Jain scholars can debate with Buddhists, Buddhists will debate with Jains, Jains can debate with the Sankhya's debate with Buddhists, Jains, the Vedanta, right? This was a very beautiful tradition in those days. Nowadays, if you debate, it will create a disaster. So nowadays it's better not to debate. Keep it nice. Okay. Okay, now 42. Any criterion that would give confidence in them would equally apply confidence in them, meaning confidence in the Hinayana Sutra as a genuine sutra of the Buddha, and it would equally apply to the Mahayana scriptures as well. And if accepted by two different parties, could make something true, then the Vedas and the other non-Buddhist traditions which you reject, they also should be accepted as true. Because these teachings, there were two sides among themselves who agreed to these teachings as true. Okay, 43. Suppose we argue, but it is because Mahayana scriptures are disputed. Right? Mahayana is all right from the beginning, there's a dispute there. Whether Mahayana is actually taught by the Buddha or not Buddha, there's a dispute there. So therefore, this is not really the standard teaching of the Buddha. Mahayana is disputed. Well, because your scriptures are disputed too. Your scriptures, what you accept as a Buddha's teaching, they are also disputed by the non-Buddhists. Right? So therefore, your scriptures are also not valid. If there's because a scripture is disputed by two parties, and another party disputes with you, because thus it becomes non-valid, then your scripture also becomes non-valid because that is disputed by the other tradition followers. Okay, and some other sections within the scriptures are disputed by yourself and others. within the Buddha's own teachings, say when the Buddha said that the father and mother to exterminate it, that is what you would dispute. You would say that this is not the Buddha's intention, right? So you have to reject even the Buddha's own teachings, saying that this is disputed, so therefore this is not a genuine teaching of Buddha. They would have to be discarded too, 44. Although the Arhat, okay, now 44 down is the reasoning. Up to 43 is about the scriptural citations, right? Now 44 down is the reasoning. Okay, this is very important. Reasoning. Okay, first, say it is said that the Buddha passed away. Buddha assumed the Mahaparinirvana. Then the Buddha's teachings, who was appointed as Buddha's heir? Mahakashyapa, right? Mahakashyapa was appointed as the Buddha's heir. So it is said that they evolved 7 heirs, one of the other, in lineage, 7 heirs. First one is Mahakashyapa, number 2 is Ananda, right? Okay, so say in those days, to say that the Buddha's teachings are alive, they should be the people who are authority of the Buddha's teachings. Who are the authority of the Buddha's teachings? In those days, Arhats. So, 44. Although the Arhat Bhikshus are the foundation of the Buddha's teachings, right? To say that Buddha's teachings are alive in those days, they should be the authority in the Buddha's teachings. What are the authority in Buddha's teachings? The Arhat Bhikshus, Arhat monks, right? So, Arhat Bhikshus, okay, now you are the Prasangikas and I'm the lower schools, right? So, I say that, do you agree that in those days, to have the Buddha's teachings alive, they should be the authority of the Buddha's teachings, who are the Arhat Bhikshus? You agree? You agree. I agree with this. Okay. Now from your point of view, in order to achieve Arahatship, what is the minimum criteria? What should you know? What wisdom should you have? Hey, you are the Prasangikas. I am the lower school. Wisdom realizing? Emptiness of no. There is no wisdom realizing objective existence. It is me who is saying this. Wisdom realizing emptiness of objective existence, not the objective existence. Yes, don't realize objective existence. We don't have to realize objective existence. We are expert in this. Since time immemorial, we are so expert in objective existence, right? We have to see the emptiness of objective existence. Okay, so you would say that these arhats, they have realization of the wisdom, they have the wisdom of emptiness. I say, no, they don't have the wisdom of emptiness. What wisdom they have? Wisdom of emptiness of autonomous substantial reality. Now, if I bring someone who does not realize the emptiness of objective existence, and still I say that this Arahat, would you say that this Arahat? You will say this is not Arahat. I may call it Arahat, but you will not say that this is Arahat. You getting it? Okay. Now, what I call as Arahats, they realize only emptiness or autonomous substantial reality. They don't realize emptiness. From your point of view, these are not Arahats. You getting it? Now, I'm denigrating the Arahats. In a way, I'm saying that from your point of view, I'm saying that Arahats are not there. Right? If the Arahats are not there, then the teaching of the Buddha, the foundation teaching of the Buddha is shattered in those days. So he said, although the Arhat Bhikshus are the foundation of Buddha's teachings, it is hard for you to posit, you meaning I, lower schools, to posit the existence of Arhat Bhikshus. Because Arhat Bhikshus should have the realization of emptiness of objective existence, but from my point of view, they don't have the emptiness of objective existence. Because it is difficult for those endowed, okay, it is hard for you to posit the existence of Arhat Bhikshus. Okay, how? Because it is difficult for those endowed with minds apprehending true existence, meaning somebody who sees things as truly existent, who sees things as objectively existent. True existence should posit the feasibility of nirvana, right? Okay, who is you? Right. Okay. Good question. Who is this you? Okay. Although the Arhat bhikshus are the foundation of the Buddha's teachings. It is hard for you, the lower schools, to posit the existence of Arhat bhikshus. You cannot posit the Arhat bhikshus. Why? I'll ask you why. Because you will say that for somebody to be Arhat, the person must have the wisdom of emptiness of objective existence. You getting it? Whereas I say that these Arhats, they don't have the wisdom of emptiness of objective existence. Right? Okay. Because it is difficult for those endowed with, because from your side you are saying that, why? If these people, 7 heirs of the Buddha in lineage, if they don't have the wisdom of emptiness of objective existence, then they would still grasp at objective existence. Somebody grasping objective existence cannot be liberated, right? Because it is difficult for those endowed with minds apprehending true existence, meaning grasping the true existence, to posit the nirvana, to posit the visibility of nirvana is very difficult, it's not possible. In other words, if somebody grasps the true existence of things, the person cannot have nirvana. Without nirvana, the person cannot be Arhat. Okay, 45. Suppose you reply, but okay now, okay, this is very important. Okay, say we point to the Mahakasha. Oh no, let's not say Mahakasha. Okay, we have to be active in this interaction, right? We have to activate this interaction. Okay, so what you say what? To be Arhat, you should have emptiness of objective existence with everyone. Realization of the emptiness of objective existence. Whereas from my point of view, to achieve Arhat, realization of the emptiness of objective existence is not required. Right? Now, okay, can you imagine that there are so many followers in my tradition? There are so many followers. You agree? There are so many followers. And amongst these followers, there are some who are very pious and who are very committed in practice. Yes? Yes. So these people, they practice what? They want to achieve personal liberation. What will they practice? Which wisdom they will practice? Omdila. They practice the wisdom of emptiness of autonomous substantial reality. Very good. They will only practice the wisdom of emptiness of autonomous substantial reality. They only practice this. Now they practice it for how long? Say they practice for 20 years. Right? And then they will see the wisdom, they will have the wisdom of emptiness, a direct wisdom of non-conceptual experience of the emptiness of autonomous substantial reality. Right? And then what happens? Because of this experience, they still don't see emptiness of object. They are not interested in emptiness of object existence. They still meditate on the emptiness of autonomous substantial reality. They meditate. What happens? That their mind becomes calmer, right? What can easily trigger attachment, anger, jealousy, and so forth, they are not affected. They are not affected, right? And then this group, the people following this group, my group, they will all start respecting this person. Now this person has already got rid of the afflictions, attachment, anger, jealousy, already got rid of. Now this person, Arhat, everybody will respect him. Now I bring him to the debate. Bring you and me. So this person, look at this Arhat. He does not meditate on emptiness of objective existence. He simply meditated on emptiness of autonomous substantial reality. And look at the outcome. Look, this is the Arhat. Right? The trigger for attachment, anger, jealousy, no effect. He has controlled the negative emotions. He's Arhat. Now tell me, what's your opinion? Is he Arhat or not?
No.
Hey, wow, don't bully them.
He does not realize the emptiness of objective
Existence. So how can you say that he's not Arhat? I say that he's Arhat. Look at, Arhat means someone who has got into the afflictions. attachment, anger, jealousy, all these things. Now look, nothing can trigger attachment, anger, jealousy, these things. This person Arahant. You will say, no, he's not Arahant. How not?
Still has afflictions.
How?
Push and pull occurs.
Huh?
Push and pull
How?
occurs. I don't know.
Because he's
You still have cognitive obstacles.
Huh?
Cognitive.
No.
Cognitive is for Buddhahood. He's not interested in Buddhahood. He's interested in personal liberation. Okay, look. Now the following debates come. Right, following debates come. Okay, let's see. Which stanza we are reading?
45.
45. Okay. Now I say that, now this person, this practitioner A, I brought him for the debate purpose. This practitioner A is liberated. Is Arhat liberated meaning? Arhat liberated because they written themselves of disturbing emotions. They don't have the disturbing emotions, many afflictions. They don't have the afflictions anymore. Do you agree with me? You don't agree. Right? You don't agree? I'm saying that they have no disturbing emotions, they have no afflictions. Okay. Then now what you are saying? Well, when you say well, it is the Prasanya's view. Well, that liberation must occur immediately upon overcoming just manifest afflictions. Right? Afflictions there are two. For example, let's say, okay, say you're so fond of cheesecake. How many of you are so fond of cheesecake? 1, 2, 3. Okay, wow, this is very special. Not much. How many of you are fond of Swiss chocolates? 1. Okay, Swiss chocolate is better, more famous here. This is Swiss chocolate. Let's see. Okay, how many of you are fond of momos? Okay, that's the momos. Okay, let's say, right? Okay, let's say you're so fond of momos. You're attached to momos, right? And okay, I will bring momos for you this afternoon or this evening. And you're so excited, right? And then what happens? Just before 5 minutes before I bring the momos to you, right? You have a fight with someone else. Bad fight, right? You're so angry. When you're so angry, then I bring the momos. You like to eat it?
no.
No. Attachment, there's no attachment. Attachment subsides. The momo. You getting it? Does this mean that you have removed the attachment to momos? No, it's a temporarily it will subside. It is not uprooted. It is temporarily subsided. You're getting it? Okay. Likewise, this person brought here, what you will say is that the afflictions subside is a temporary subsiding the afflictions. It's not permanently subsided. Right? Simply because you meditate on the emptiness or transubstantiality, then the afflictions subside. If this is, you call it arhat, then you have a fight. And then you bring the momo. Your attachment to the momo subsides. Then you should come arhat at that point. Right? You agree? Okay, so there are practices alongside while the Buddha appeared on this earth, alongside there were so many contemporary teachers of other traditions who actually go to the Himalayas. They don't meditate on emptiness, they don't meditate on emptiness of object existence, they don't meditate on emptiness of transubstantiality, right? They simply practice calming down the attachment, calming down the anger and so forth. There are some other methods. By other methods, they calm down these negative emotions. And they are successful in calming down these negative emotions. But since they do not see the emptiness or transubstantiality, no, they see the emptiness of the what? Objective existence. From your side, from my side, these are not arahats. But they have subsided the manifest afflictions. Simply because manifest afflictions subsided, does it mean that the person has achieved arahatship? I will say no. So you will say that this arahat, what you call as arahat, is actually the same. The afflictions are subsided just temporarily. It's not a permanent solution. How not? How not? The next debate. Okay, when we set up
46.
46.
45 class
45. Okay. Okay, let me read 45 once more. Suppose you reply, but they are liberated because they read themselves of disturbing emotion. What is disturbing emotions? Afflictions. Well, the afflictions are not there. The self-grasping is not there. Afflictions are not there. Well, now you are saying, well, that liberation must occur immediately upon overcoming just the manifest afflictions. Right? So what we call as this person achieving liberation is just the manifest afflictions are subsided. If this is where you call somebody has achieved arahat, then even the people who don't meditate at all on emptiness of daily existence, emptiness of non-substantial reality, even they can subside afflictions temporarily. Even they should achieve arahatship. Okay. Next, however, despite their lacking gross disturbing emotions, they have the karmic potential to propel them to another samsara birth. This is what you are saying. Now you are telling me that this arahat, what you call as arahat, this one known as, okay, this is interesting. This is known as arahat of the arahat posited in abhidharma. Right? Okay. This is not a real arahat. There's a special label. This arahat is labeled, this person's labeled as arahat as posited in abhidharma. You're getting it? Okay, I'll explain further, don't worry. Abhidharma.
No, I have a question.
Yes.
This entire stanza it reminds me of the lower scope in Lambden, where he practices on removing the afflictions, but he is not interested in getting out of the samsaric world.
Yes. Yes.
It's the same.
Very similar. So they also subside the negative emotions, afflictions greatly, right? But they don't meditate on the emptiness of objective existence, right? And they may not also meditate on the emptiness of non-substantial reality. So it's very similar, yes. Okay. I'll explain. Okay, first let me explain, then you can ask me a question. Okay, this person, which I'll call as arahat, from your point of view, is he arahat or not? No. So, what do you call, because I call it arahat, we keep the label arahat, but not arahat. What do you call it? Arahat as posited in abhidharma. What do you mean by arahat as posited in abhidharma? Abhidharma, there are so many abhidharma. So you're getting it? So many abhidharmas. This abhidharma is referring to abhidharma kosh and abhidharma samuchaya. Abhidharma kosh and abhidharma samuchaya. Right? Abhidharma kosh is by Acharya Vasubandhu. Abhidharma samuchaya is by Arya Asanga. Abhidharma kosh is by Acharya Vasubandhu. Abhidharma samuchaya is by Arya Asanga. And these two are brothers, half-brothers. Both are excellent scholars, and Arya Asanga, not only both of them, not only scholars, great practitioners, and Arya Asanga already reached, say, the Arya levels, already seen emptiness directly. Therefore, he is referred to as the Arya Asanga. Right? Okay. So, the two Abhidharmas, what is the philosophy of these two Abhidharmas? These two philosophy is not according to Sangirga. Abhidharma Kosh is more in line with Vaibhashika philosophy. Abhidharma Samuchaya is about Chittamatra philosophy. Abhidharma Kosh is more in line with Vaibhashika philosophy. Okay, this next question, right? Okay, this question we'll do a little later. For this time, let's see. Abhidharma Kosh, what is the philosophy? Vaibhashika philosophy. Abhidharma Samuchaya, Chittamatra philosophy. So now the question is, the interpretive question is, Abhidhamma Samuchaya, if that is the philosophy Chittamattara, then who's the author of Abhidhamma Samuchaya? Arya Sangha. Arya Sangha, does he follow Chittamattara philosophy? This question.
No.
Answer is no. Right? It is like His Holiness the Dalai Lama teaching by Bhashika philosophy. He is following Madhyamika philosophy, but he can teach by Bhashika philosophy. Right? Arya Sangha is following Madhyamika philosophy, but he wrote mainly on Chittamattara philosophy. Right? Okay. So therefore, these two Abhidhammas, do they follow the philosophy of Prasangika? No. But these two Abhidhammas are actually used by Prasangikas. These two Abhidhammas are being studied by Prasangikas. Why? Because these two Abhidhammas has all the three aspects: Vinaya, Sutra, and Abhidhamma. All three are there. Of these three, Abhidhamma part, the wisdom part, may not be accepted by Prasangika, but the other things, Vinaya and Sutra, they were all accepted by Prasangika alike. So therefore, they use these two Abhidhammas. So this Arahat is known as Arahat as posited by the Abhidharma. Meaning, this is not the real Abhidharma. This is not the real Arahat. This is just a label, Arahat label. Okay. Okay. Now, 45, stanza 45, second last line. However, despite their lacking gross disturbing emotions, they have the karmic potential to propel them to another samsaric birth. Okay, now you are saying, okay, this Arahat, as posed in the Abhidharma, this Arahat, although he does not have the manifest afflictions, but he still has the contaminated karmas to throw into samsara, to take birth in samsara. He says, however, despite their lacking gross disturbing emotions, they have the karmic potential, karmic seeds, to propel them to another samsaric birth. This is what you are saying. Now I am saying, although they have karma, yes, I agree that. Although they have the contaminated karmas, but contaminated karmas require, contaminated karmas require attachment, like water. Seed requires water to germinate into the shoot. Right? So since they don't have attachment, the contaminated potential alone cannot throw them to samsara. So therefore, they will not take birth in samsara. This is my response. Okay, now hey, listen to me, right? So what would you say? You said that they are not arahat, they will continue to take birth in samsara because they still have the contaminated potential, karmic potential to throw them into samsara. I say what? Yes, they do have the potential, the karmic potential, but they don't have the afflictions, they don't have the attachment, afflictions are not there. So this seed alone cannot throw them to samsara. What will you say now?
The afflictions are temporarily
subsided,
but if given the correct causes and conditions,
correct triggers, stimulus, then afflictions can arise.
Because he has not realized the emptiness of objective existence.
Okay, so what you have to say, for the timing, don't say everything together, he'll get confused, I'll get confused. Right? You have to say things. The first one first, then stop there. Then let me give the answer. Right? Okay, you say that the karmic potential is there, no karmic potential. What I say, affliction is not there. You said that the gross affliction is not there, but the subtle affliction is still there. Right? Okay. Then what I will say, subtle afflictions are not there. Right? Then you will have to prove to me that the subtle afflictions are there. So how proved? Say ignorance. Ignorance is of two kinds. Afflicted ignorance and the non-afflicted ignorance too. Likewise, attachment. Attachment, the gross attachment and the subtle attachment. Gross attachment, they might have subsided, but the subtle attachment is still there. What do you mean by subtle attachment? Attachment given rise to by the grasping at the autonomous substantial reality is a gross one. Attachment given rise to by the grasping at the objective existence is a subtle one. Just as ignorance is of two, gross and the subtle, Why not the attachment also gross and subtle? If the attachment, they are gross and subtle, one, the gross one, given rise to by which ignorance? Given rise to by the ignorance grasping at autonomous substantial reality. And the second one is attachment given rise to by the ignorance grasping at objective existence. Why not? Just as ignorance is of two levels, subtle and gross, why not attachment also subtle and gross? So they may have subsided gross attachment, but the subtle attachment is still here. Okay, let's see. Let's read further. Let's see. Where will we? 46. Suppose you then say meaning me. But it is definite that they do not have craving as a condition for obtaining rebirth. Like what Mondila said, that to take rebirth you need to contain karma plus the attachment with craving. So the craving is not there, right? Craving as a condition for, do not have craving for a condition for obtaining rebirth. Okay, now you are saying, even if this craving is not entirely a gross disturbing emotion, this craving, why not? There are two kinds, gross and subtle, right? Even if the craving is not entirely gross disturbing emotion, why does it not exist on two levels, grosser and subtler, like the ignorance does? What can be the gross craving? What is the gross craving? Craving given rise to by the ignorance grasping at autonomous substantial reality. What is the subtle craving? Craving given rise to by the ignorance grasping at objective existence. Okay, one more craving there are two. If I say yes, then you can say that the gross one is subsided but the subtle one is still here. So the subtle one will activate the karmic potential and then throw them to samsara. So therefore they are still not arhat. This is how we would say. Okay, now let's read further. 47. Through the force of feeling, this is your position. This is your position, Prasanna's position. How can you prove to me that this person, arhat of the Abhidharma, this person still has the craving? How? Craving, through the force of feeling, there is a craving. When this pleasant feeling arising, craving arises. Right? And feeling exists. Which feeling? Pleasant feeling exists in those purported arahats. Purported arahats means arahats of the arahats posited in the Abhidharma. They also have the cravings. Right? Okay. Now, if this is your position, let me ask you the question back to you. Shariputra, was he arahat or not? Huh?
Yes.
Yes, of course. He's one of the best examples of arahat. Don't be doubtful of that. Shariputra, does he have a pleasant feeling or not? Hey.
Yes.
Yes. If he has pleasant feeling, what you said, when there's a pleasant feeling, craving arises. So Shariputra, does he have a craving or not?
No.
No. He should have craving according to you because he has a pleasant feeling. What's your answer?
Not necessary.
If not necessary, why you say that it's necessary for me? Okay, listen. Right? Let's see what is the follow-up discussion. Right? Okay. 47. Through the force of feeling, what feeling? Pleasant feeling, there is craving. And the pleasant feeling exists in those purported arahats. In those arahats of the arahats stated in the Abhidharmas as well. So our mind having true existence as its object is what some people are endowed with. And these arahats, these people referred to as arahats, they have the grasping at the true existence. They still have it. They have not abandoned this. This I agree, you agree. You're getting it? Okay. So now can you relate something? They have the pleasant feeling. They have the seeing his objectively real, right? And then the afflictions craving arises. Can you see something relation? How can you relate this? Anyone? Okay. It's not just the feeling. Seeing the feeling as objectively real, then the pull and push starts. When there's a feeling, but you see the feeling as illusion-like, it's just coming from our mind, pull and push is not there. You getting it? So craving is when your mind is pulled by the object. That is the craving. So when you see the object is coming from your mind, there's no pull happening. So craving is not happening, even though the feeling is there, even though the pleasant feeling is there, but craving is not there if you see the pleasant feeling as empty of objective existence. Whereas the purported arahats, do they see the feelings of empty of objective existence? Why not? Because they don't meditate on this at all. So when they see the feeling, pleasant feeling, the pleasant feeling are bound to be seen as objectively real. The moment they see the pleasant feeling as objectively real, their mind will be pulled by it. Right? This pull is involuntary pull. Involuntary pull is loss of freedom. Loss of freedom is misery. They are still having misery and the samsara. Okay, let us see. 47 again. Through the force of feeling, what feeling? Pleasant feeling, there is craving. And feeling, pleasant feeling exists in those purported arahats as well. You understand up this point? Yes. Now the addition point. Addition point, not only just the feeling, seeing the feeling as objectively real. So a mind having two existence, meaning mind having two existence as object, meaning the grasping at the objectively existent, the object, is what some people are endowed with. Who are some people? The purported arahats. The purported arahats, they still have this seeing things as objectively real. So seeing things objectively real, seeing pleasant feeling as objectively real. Then what happens? Involuntary pull happens. Okay. That involuntary pull is known as attachment. Right? Okay. 48. A mind that is parted, a mind that is separated, parted, a mind that is separated from the experience of emptiness may block, say these purported arahats, they don't have the mind experiencing emptiness. Right? They meditate on something else. That meditation may block disturbing emotions, may stop the gross disturbing emotions or afflictions, but they will arise once again. Disturbing emotions will arise once again. Okay, you like momo so much?
Yes.
Right? When you have a very bad fight with someone else, I bring the momos, you like this momo? No, you throw the momo away, right? Okay, this is what the small children do to the parents when they disagree with the parents. Did you do that sometimes? When you were young?
Yes.
Not now. When you were young, you did that. Jesse, you did that? When you were young? Not now. You don't remember. Anyone who did that when you were young? I used to do that sometimes. Yeah. Okay, yes, eventually that's it. Thank you.
My mother gave me
Okay, now look. Okay, say, now, when you have the heated fight with someone else, and then someone brings your favorite momos, you don't like it, you don't have the attachment at that point. Does it mean that your attachment to the momo stops altogether?
No.
No, it will arise again when? When your heated anger subsides, when you feel a little hungry, then the momo comes again, the attachment comes back to the momos. Right? So therefore, when the conditions for the attachment arises, and then say your meditation on the emptiness of autonomous substantiality, substantial bed, then attachment once again will arise. Okay. 48. A mind that is parted. Parted meaning what? Separated from the experience of emptiness. For those people, they may block disturbing, they may stop disturbing emotions temporarily, but they will arise once again later on. Like conceptual discrimination arising after the meditative equipoise of non-discrimination. Therefore, one needs to meditate on emptiness. I'll explain this and we'll stop here. Okay. Say, there's one meditation. You're getting it? Okay, let's say that whole samsara is divided into 3 realms. What are they? Desire realm, form realm, formless realm. 3 realms. Okay, right? Then, first from the desire realm, with your meditation, you go to the form realm. With the form, again, with further meditation, form realm meaning you still have the physical form, Then you go to the formless. You see the form as something problem. There's some problem, right? Some problem. Okay. Then, what is beyond form? What is beyond form is space. Right? So now you transcend the form, and subtler than form is space. You meditate that everything is like space. When you're successful, then you reach the concentration of the space, infinite space. Concentration of the infinite space. Okay, now you reach that level, you still want better, more refined. What is more refined than the space? Consciousness. Now you see the space as very gross as compared to the consciousness, the mind. Now you upgrade to the next one, infinite consciousness. The concentration of the infinite consciousness. Okay, now you reach, everywhere you look at, you see like consciousness. Your mind pervades everywhere. Okay. What is next? What is solid in consciousness? Object-wise, or solid in no. Right? Either say the form, space, or consciousness. Nothing is there. Now what do? You delete the object. You delete the object. When you delete the object, what happens? It's only the subject. So what is object? Vacuity. It is known as the state of the concentration of vacuity. State of concentration of vacuity. Okay, now you're successful in deleting the object. Now what is left? Subject is left. Now you have to delete the subject. What is the subject? Your mind, meditative mind. Mind cannot be deleted. At the most what you can do is that you can make the mind subtler. Right? So you make the mind very subtle to the extent that other people may see that you are like a dead person. You are like a, say, in the subconscious, what do you call it? The unconscious state. In a coma, right? But you are in a meditative state. Okay, this is known as, okay, so the object is nil. Subject is very subtle. So this is known as a meditative concentration with discrimination and without discrimination. With discrimination, without discrimination. This is a very subtle state of meditation. Okay, first one is physical form. You overcome that physical form by infinite space. Next one is infinite consciousness. Next one is vacuity. Next one is peak of existence, peak of samsara. Sorry, they are all formless. They are all formless. Infinite space, infinite consciousness, vacuity, peak of existence. These are four divisions of the formless realm. Four divisions of formless realm. Right? Okay. Now the peak of existence. There, what happens? Object-wise is vacuum. Subject-wise is very subtle. So therefore, the peak of existence is also known as meditative concentration with discrimination and without discrimination. Why with discrimination? Because this is still the mind. Because it is the mind, it should have a discrimination there. Discrimination meaning, say, the ability to distinguish things. Yes, this is blue, this is white, this is red, this is house, this discrimination should be there with any mind. It can be wrong. It can be wrong discrimination. It doesn't matter. The discrimination should be there. Because it's a mind, it should be discrimination. Why? Without discrimination. Because it's so subtle that it is like there's no mind at all. So therefore this is known as meditative concentration with discrimination, without discrimination. So there what happens in this meditative experience, right? Even if you bring the triggers like attachment, anger and so forth, the person will not arise from this meditative state, cannot be negative emotions, affections cannot be triggered for like thousands and millions of years. Will stay in this experience for millions of years. Not as a human being, when you take birth in the formless realm. Will stay in this experience for millions of years. So when this karma to stay in this realm exhausts, they will come back to the other realms once more. So there, the negative emotions, negative afflictions can once again arise.
The come to the desire realm.
They can come to desire realm, form realm, depending on what karma. The karma decides. Okay, so there, at that point, the gross discrimination was subsided, was suppressed. But when the karma for that person to stay in this realm exhausts, then the gross discrimination comes back. So although it was suppressed for a long time, it can still come back because it is not uprooted from because it is not uprooted fully. Likewise, these purported arahats, although the afflictions attempted so far, they will suppress greatly, but when conducive factors arise, these afflictions will come back. Okay, so let me read this once again, we'll stop here. 48. A mind that is parted from the experience of emptiness may block disturbing emotions, but they will arise once again. Like conceptual discrimination arising after the meditative equipoise of non-discrimination. Right? You have the meditative equipoise, which is like no discrimination at all. Maybe you stay in this for how long? Like 1 million years. And then, when the karma exhausts, again the gross discrimination. This discrimination is gross discrimination. Conceptual discrimination arising after the meditative equipoise of non-discrimination. Here what? Non-gross discrimination. But the technical term is non-discrimination. Geshela. Okay, we'll stop here.
Geshela.
Yes.
So finally, if we meditate on emptiness of objective existence, we will not
meditate on objective existence.
No, meditate on the emptiness of objective existence. Then we will not take birth even in the formless.
Okay, this is a good question. Wow.
Ask later.
Okay, you're worried about you may take birth in the formless realm?
I don't want to take birth in the formless.
Wonderful. In fact, ordinary people, they want to take birth there. Particularly
people. Come back, no?
Yes, eventually they'll come back. Right? People who are genuinely interested to get out of samsara altogether, they don't want to take birth there. And particularly Bodhisattvas, they don't want to take birth there. Right? Okay. Now the point is, if you realize emptiness, is it the case that you will not take birth there? Okay. It is not sure. Right? It is not sure, but if you realize emptiness very profoundly and your motivation, bodhicitta, is so strong, I want to take birth where I can be of greatest benefit to sentient beings, guaranteed you will not take birth in the formless realm, guaranteed. So bodhicitta guarantees that. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll do the end dedication prayer, very quick dedication prayer. Okay, page 278. Page 278. In the land and circle of snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful cherries it ends in Gyaso. Please remain until samsara ends. Just as the brave Manjushri and some of the Bhagavad too realize things as they are. Also, I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their proper example. I dedicate all these rules of virtue with the dedication. Praise is the best, but if the tourist ones thus gone of the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that is not erased in the rising syndrome, and may that which is erased not diminished by the principle of more. Due to the merits of these versions actions, may I quickly attain the state of Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the decent prayers of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times and to the upholding of the Dharma of teaching and realization. May all lives through the force of this merit never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle and accomplish all the stages of the path to renunciation, bodhicitta, perfectly in the 2 stages. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach to enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I attempt the mother full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Chulochen, I confess the negativities individually, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings, I hold the questions for them in my heart. A powerful union of emptiness and compassion is lucidly explained by the protector of both the Dharma and the means and stolen. You are the lotus of the intensity also, we supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans and non-humans who have perished through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the three jewels. In all my lives, never separate from perfect gurus, I enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the past and could attain the still Vajradhara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by Arya Nagarjuna and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of the Mahayana Buddhism in particular, even across my life.